The press conference was supposed to be all about celebration. Claressa Shields, fresh off another major win, standing next to her fiancé, smiling for cameras, talking about the future. But nobody expected Papoose to show up. And nobody expected what happened next. It started quietly. He walked up, calm, composed, hands in his pockets. The reporters shifted, unsure if they should even be filming. But then he stopped, dead center, turned toward Claressa's fiancé, and dropped a line that sucked the air right out of the room. "Why don't you tell her where you really were in 2019? The crowd froze. Claressa's smile faltered. Her fiancé laughed nervously, but Papoose wasn't done. He pulled a folded sheet of paper from his jacket, a document he claimed was the truth no one wants her to see. He held it up for the cameras. "This," he said, "isn't a rumor. This is fact. And once it's out, everybody in this room will know who you really are." Reporters scrambled to get closer. Claressa's fiancé reached for the paper, but Papoose stepped back, shaking his head. "Not so fast. She's going to find out. She's going to find out with everybody else watching." Gasps filled the room. Claressa looked between the two men, her jaw tightening. Whatever was in that paper, she knew it wasn't going to be good. And she also knew Papoose had never been one to bluff. The question wasn't if he would reveal it. It was how much damage it was about to do. The paper in Papoose's hand looked ordinary white, creased from being folded, but the way he held it made it feel like it weighed a ton. The reporters in the front row were leaning forward so far their elbows were practically on the floor. Photographers adjusted their lenses, ready for whatever came next. Claressa's fiancé, Karis, forced a smirk, glancing at Claressa as if to say he's bluffing. But the flicker in his eyes betrayed him. A nervous twitch that Papoose caught instantly. "You don't want me to read this, do you?" Papoose asked, his voice low but carrying across the room. "This is ridiculous." Darius shot back. "Claressa, baby, don't listen to this." Papoose chuckled, not the kind of laugh that comes from amusement, but the kind that says, "I've got you cornered. Don't listen." She's gonna listen, and so is everybody else. He unfolded the paper slowly, milking every second. The microphones on the podium picked up the faint crinkle of the paper. "This," he began, "is a police report from 2019. It details an incident in Detroit involving this man right here, your loving fiancé." A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Claressa's eyes narrowed, and for the first time since he'd walked in, she didn't look at Papoose. She stared straight at Darius. Papoose continued reading from the paper. Suspect identified as Darius Cole was detained following an altercation outside a nightclub. Witness statements allege he assaulted another man over a dispute involving stolen merchandise. Charges were dropped due to lack of cooperation from the victim. Darius stepped forward, his voice raised. "That's not what happened." Papoose didn't flinch. "You can try to spin it, but that's your name, your signature, and your record. And that's just the appetizer." The reporters were buzzing now, shouting questions over each other. "Darius, is this true? Claressa, did you know about this?" The flashes from cameras lit up the room like strobe lights. Claressa held up a hand, silencing the noise. Her voice was calm, but there was steel in it. "Papoose, why are you doing this?" "Because," he said, meeting her eyes, "I care about you enough to make sure you're not marrying a man who's been lying to you since day one." Darius laughed harshly. "Oh, so you're the hero now. You're just trying to ruin what we have because you've got a problem with me." Papoose's tone sharpened. "You're right, I do have a problem with you. My problem is that you've been hiding more than just a bad night at a club. Tell her about Danielle." The name hit like a thunderclap. Claressa's head snapped toward Darius. "Who is Danielle?" Darius hesitated, and that hesitation was enough. Papoose pounced. "Danielle is the woman you were living with in Chicago in 2020. It's the same year you told Claressa you were working construction out of state." Gasps again. Claressa's jaw tightened, but she didn't say a word. And before you try to lie your way out of it, Papoose added, I've got the lease agreement right here with both your names on it. I've also got pictures dated, time-stamped of you two together. The room erupted. Reporters were practically falling over each other now, some yelling for Papoose to show the evidence, others shouting questions at Darius Claressa. Darius said quickly, stepping closer to her, It's not what it sounds like. Danielle was just a friend. Papoose cut him off, his voice booming. A friend you shared an address with for 9 months? A friend you took on vacation to Miami? A friend you opened a joint bank account with? The murmurs turned into a full-blown frenzy. Claressa's hands were balled into fists at her sides, her breathing sharp. Darius turned to the crowd, desperate. This is all taken out of context. There's no context for lying to the woman you're about to marry. Papoose shot back. Claressa finally spoke, her voice shaking but steady. I want to see everything. Papoose reached into his jacket again and pulled out a manila folder thick with documents and photographs. He set it down on the podium in front of her. It's all here. Every lie, every omission, every shady deal he's made behind your back. I'm giving it to you. Do what you want with it. Darius's face was red now, his words tumbling out fast. You can't just bring this up here like this. I just did. Papoose replied coldly. The tension in the room was a living thing now, coiled and ready to snap. Claressa stared at the folder for a long moment before picking it up. She didn't open it? Not yet. Instead, she looked at Darius and said, We'll talk later. Then she turned to the reporters. We're done here. She walked out, the cameras following her every move, leaving Darius standing at the podium, seething, and Papoose watching him with an expression that said, checkmate. But as the crowd spilled out into the lobby, one thought was clear. Whatever was in that folder was going to be the next bombshell, and the fallout from it could destroy more than just an engagement. The hotel suite was eerily quiet compared to the chaos of the press conference. Claressa had shut the door, locked it, and dropped her bag on the couch without saying a word. The manila folder Papoose had handed her sat on the coffee table like it was radioactive. She stood over it for a moment, arms crossed, before finally sitting down and pulling it toward her. Her hands hovered over the flap. She wasn't sure if she was ready, but she also knew she couldn't let Darius talk his way out of this without knowing exactly what she was dealing with. With a deep breath, she opened it. The first page was a printed email thread. At the top, from Darius Cole. Subject, repayments. The date was from 2021. The conversation was between Darius and someone named M. Torres. The content made her stomach twist. It was about wiring the usual amount to a secondary account and making sure no one ties this back to my main income. Attached to the email was a scanned deposit slip for $5,000 monthly. For almost a year. She flipped to the next section, photographs. Dozens of them. Some candid, some obviously taken by someone who'd been following Darius. In more than one, he was with Danielle, the woman Papoose had mentioned. But these weren't just friendly encounters. They were intimate, hugging, kissing, shopping together. In one photo, Danielle was holding a set of keys. The timestamp matched the period Claressa thought Darius had been working construction out of state. Claressa's jaw clenched, but she kept going. The third section hit harder. It was a series of court records, nothing she'd ever seen before.
Arias
had been sued in 2017 for breach of contract and fraud. The plaintiff claimed he'd taken $30,000 for a business investment and disappeared. The case had been settled out of court, but the paperwork showed bank statements tying the settlement. It's payout to an account that still had his name on it. Claressa's phone buzzed. Darius. She let it go to voicemail. The next page stopped her cold. It was a screenshot of a background check, and under aliases there were 2 other names listed. She'd never heard either one before. Alongside them were 2 different social security numbers and 3 addresses she'd never visited. She sat back, the weight of the folder settling in. It wasn't just about infidelity anymore. It was about who Darius actually was or wasn't. Her phone buzzed again. This time, a text. "We need to talk. Don't let Papoose get in your head." Before she could respond, there was a knock at the door. "Who is it?" she called. "It's me," came Papoose's voice. She hesitated then. "Open the door." He stepped inside, looking around the suite like he was making sure they were alone. "You read it?" he asked. "I'm halfway through," she replied, her voice tight. "Is all of this real? Every page?" he said without hesitation. "And there's more I didn't even put in there yet." She gave him a look that was equal parts suspicion and gratitude. "Why are you really doing this, Papoose? You don't exactly stick your neck out for people unless there's a reason." He met her gaze. "'Cause I've seen too many people I care about get burned by people who weren't who they said they were. You've worked too hard to have your name tied to his mess." Claressa sat back down, motioning for him to join her. "Then tell me the rest. Don't leave me wondering what's in the next envelope." Papoose sat, leaning forward. "You saw the aliases, right?" She nodded. "One of them belongs to a bank account in Miami. That account is linked to a property, a condo, where Danielle stayed after you called off your engagement the first time." Claressa's eyes narrowed. "The first time?" Papoose said. "You might not have known it, but Darius called off your wedding before it was even public. He was already making moves with Danielle. I've got text messages between them talking about finally being free and planning trips together." Claressa's chest tightened. "And you're telling me this now?" "Because if I told you before you saw the proof, you might have thought I was just stirring the pot," he said plainly. "Now you've seen it." She was quiet for a moment, flipping to the last section of the folder. What she found there made her hands shake. It was a photocopy of a passport, not Darius's. At least, not the one she'd seen before. Different number, different issue date, and the name. It's one of the aliases from the background check. "This is identity fraud," she said quietly. Papoose nodded. "And if you're tied to him when this comes out, even if you didn't know, it's still gonna splash back on you. I'm trying to stop that before it happens." Her phone buzzed again, this time with a voicemail notification. She put it on speaker. Darius's voice filled the room. "Claressa, you have to listen to me. Papoose is twisting everything. Toes. Accounts aren't mine. That woman isn't what you think. And if you let him get in your head, you're gonna ruin what we have. Call me back before this goes too far." When it ended, Claressa looked at Papoose. "So what now?" "Up to you," he said. "You can confront him. You can walk away, or you can let me drop the rest of what I've got and end this for good." Her fingers traced the edge of the folder. The decision was hers, but either way, the next step was going to be public. Very public. And she knew once it happened, there would be no going back. Claressa didn't wait more than an hour. The folder sat heavy in her hands as she marched out of the hotel suite, ignoring the texts still pouring in from Darius. Her mind wasn't on whether the confrontation would be civil. She already knew it wouldn't be. The production crew, sensing something big, followed at a discreet distance. Word traveled fast, and within minutes they were trailing her down a narrow hallway toward the private lounge where Darius had been holed up since the press conference. He was sitting in a corner booth scrolling through his phone when she walked in. The moment he saw the folder in her hands, his smirk disappeared. "We need to talk," Claressa said flatly, sliding into the booth across from him. Darius glanced around at the cameras closing in. "We really doing this here?" she said without hesitation. "We're doing it here, on camera, so you can't spin your way out of it later." He leaned back, trying to project calm, but his voice betrayed him. "All right, say what you gotta say." Claressa dropped the folder on the table and flipped it open. First, the 2019 police report. "You said it was nothing, but it's your name, your signature, and your arrest record." "That was a misunderstanding," Darius said quickly. "The guy dropped the charges not because you were innocent," she snapped, "but because he didn't want to deal with it. That's not the same thing." Before he could reply, she pulled out the photographs. "Then there's Danielle. 9 months living together in Chicago, vacations, a joint bank account, and you told me you were working out of state. Darius's jaw tightened. It wasn't what it looked like. Oh, save it, she cut him off. Because these aren't just pictures, they're time-stamped. They line up perfectly with the dates you were supposedly too busy to see me. The tension in the room thickened. Crew members exchanged glances, knowing they were capturing something that would blow up the second it aired. Claressa slid the next document. Crossed the table the court records from the fraud case. Never told me you were sued for taking? $30,000 from someone. You settled out of court and hid the account the money went into. That was before I met you, Darius said, his tone defensive now. It's got nothing to do with us. It's got everything to do with us, Claressa fired back. 'Cause if you lied about that, you can lie about anything. Finally, she pulled out the passport photocopy, the one with the alias. She placed it between them, her voice dropping to a deadly calm. Explain this. Darius froze. His eyes flicked to the cameras, then back to her. That's complicated. No, she said, leaning in. It's simple. Either you're using a fake identity, or there's another part of your life I don't know about. Which is it? For a moment, he didn't answer. Then he stood, sliding out of the booth. I'm not doing this with you here, he muttered. Claressa stood too, blocking his path. You don't get to walk away. Not this time. The cameras caught every second as his frustration boiled over. You think Papoose is some kind of saint? He's not. He's been waiting for a chance to embarrass me. And you fell right into it. Claressa didn't flinch. You embarrassed yourself. Papoose didn't make you live with another woman. He didn't make you lie about your past. He didn't make you hide who you really are. It's all you are. The room was silent except for the rapid clicks of camera shutters. Darius's expression hardened. You're making a mistake. Claressa shook her head. The only mistake I made was trusting you. It's without another word. She grabbed the folder, turned on her heel, and walked out. The crew followed, the boom mics catching every furious exhale. By the time she reached the street, her phone was already buzzing with alerts. Somehow, maybe from a crew member, maybe from someone in the lounge, footage of the confrontation had leaked. Short clips were hitting Instagram and Twitter in real time, Claressa slamming the photos on the table. Darius looking cornered. The passport shot in full view. Hashtags like hashtag CLARESSA confronts and hashtag Darius exposed started trending within the hour. Blogs reposted the footage, freezing frames and circling key details in red. Fans were tagging Papoose in every comment, praising him for saving CLARESSA. Darius tried to post his own side on Instagram Live, claiming everything was taken out of context and that the passport belonged to a business associate. But viewers weren't buying it. The comments section was brutal, full of receipts, memes, and side-by-side comparisons of his story versus the evidence. Meanwhile, Papoose posted a single cryptic tweet. The truth doesn't need defending. It racked up thousands of likes in minutes. By nightfall, the confrontation was the top story on gossip blogs. Claressa's name was trending alongside phrases like dodged a bullet and queen protecting her crown. Endorsement brands started quietly reaching out to her team, some even offering to pivot planned campaigns to focus solely on her. Without Darius. In the privacy of her suite, Claressa sat with Papoose once more. The folder lay open between them, its contents now public property thanks to the leaks. You know, this isn't just going to fade away, Papoose said. I know, she replied. And I'm fine with that. Better they know now than after I've got a ring on my finger and his mess attached to my name. Papoose nodded. Then I guess the only thing left is deciding how loud you want to be about it. Claressa looked down at the folder, then back at him. Oh, I'm going to be loud. Real loud. And there you have it, the moment Claressa slammed the truth on the table, walked away without looking back, and left Darius's entire carefully constructed image in flames. The receipts are out, the footage is viral, and the public has already chosen a side. But here's the thing. This might only be the beginning. Because from what we've heard, that folder Papoose handed Claressa. Yeah, that wasn't even the full stack. Sources close to him say there are more documents, more photos, and possibly even audio recordings that could make this already earth-shattering scandal look like child's play. And if Claressa decides to go fully public with the rest, it could completely erase Darius from the industry in a matter of days. The question now is, will she pull the trigger? Or is there someone behind the scenes trying to make sure those final pieces of evidence never see the light of day? You can bet this story isn't done. The next chapter might be even more explosive than what we just witnessed. So here's what I need you to do. Hit that like button if you think Claressa just made the smartest move of her career. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should she release everything Papoose gave her, or keep it locked away? And make sure you subscribe with notifications on, because the second this story takes its next turn, we'll be here with every shocking detail. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.